Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Yes, folks, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. Happy to the man himself, Otis Williams. Love that song by the Temptations. But as you heard in the intro right there, that was the Nets' Kyrie Irving. And this man has apparently stepped in it. Yes, he has. Now, this all started when Thursday, Kyrie Irving took to Twitter and just posted a link to a movie called Hebrews to Negroes. The 2018 film was directed by a man named Ronald Dalton, and it's based upon his 2015 book of the same name. A description of the film states that it uncovers the true identity of the children of Israel. Hold on, caller. The true children of Israel. While a similar one for the book reads that since the European and Arab slave traders stepped foot into Africa, blacks have been told lies about their heritage. This is really a book that is consistent with, I believe, the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, where the movement generally essentially perpetuates the idea that black people are the real descendants of the ancient Israelites, with more extreme factions claiming that black people have been robbed of their identity as being God's chosen people. Now, the Jewish ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center, they considered them a hate group. They say that they often parrot classic anti-Semitic quotes like claiming European Jews, which they often refer to as the synagogue of Satan, wield outside control over society, especially in industries like banking and the media. They also say that they've pushed anti-Semitic claims that Jews are responsible for slavery and the effeminization of black men. Now, in the documentary that Kyrie Irving shared on his Twitter page, the link to it, Dalton brings up the real truth about the slave trade. He says that when teaching slavery, schools don't mention the involvement of the Catholic Church, Arab, East African, or Islamic slave traders, or the Jewish slave ships that brought our West African, Negro, or Bantu ancestors to slave ports owned by Jews. Now, also Dalton talks about the mass media, calling it the biggest tool of indoctrination, brainwashing, and propaganda that the world has ever seen. Now, in the 4th chapter of the book, it says, when did racism start towards blacks? And it says that anti-black racism can be traced back to key Jewish texts. Now, obviously, Kyrie posting just a link to this. He didn't comment on it at all. He just posted a link to it, and all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. And immediately people start condemning him. You have Shaq out here condemning him. You have Charles Barkley condemning him. This is what Shaq had to say. Let me go back to Charles Barkley. Go to Shaq here.
all over social media. Do you ever put something out there, Shaq, that does not represent something that you feel?
I was probably one of the first guys on Twitter, and when I realized the power it had, I knew I had to be very responsible. Followers, platform, whatever you call it, I knew I had to be responsible. I try to make people happy. I try to make people smile. My formula has always been the same: 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% whatever I'm selling. You have to be aware of what you're doing, and you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I could tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done. I stand for equality of all people. I've always been like that. Don't matter what religion, no matter where you're from. I could say shalom, salam alaikum, ni hao, say bon, because that's how I was raised.
This is what Charles Barkley had to say about what Kyrie Irving posted.
I think the NBA dropped the ball.
In what way?
I think he should have been suspended. I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're going to insult me, you have the right, but I have the right to say, no, you're not going to take my $40 million and insult my religion. I think the NBA, they made a mistake. We have suspended people and fined people who have made homophobic slurs, and that was the right thing to do. I think if you insult the black community, you should be suspended or fined heavily, depending. I saw they did the same thing to the kid in Minnesota this year when he made the gay slur. I think you should get suspended or fined.
So obviously Shaq and Charles Barkley are not big fans of what he said. So Kyrie said, look, that he embraced all religions, and he essentially said that he defended his right to post what he believes after the owner of the Brooklyn Nets said that he was disappointed that Irving appeared to back this film From Hebrews to Negroes. And so at this point, Kyrie says, fine, I will donate $500,000 to the Jewish ADL. And so that's what he did. He donated, but even that wasn't good enough for the media and for the powers that be. The ADL rejected his apology and rejected his money. And the Nets have actually suspended Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games without pay because they said they are dismayed by his repeated failure to unequivocally say that he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. And so that's where we stand now. Kyrie is suspended. Hold on, callers. Jesus, I will get to you. Just stay on the line. So we see this, right? I have a hard time believing that if Kyrie Irving had said what he said about, well, he didn't say anything. He just posted a link, right? If he had posted to a link to a movie that said that African Americans were the real Eskimos, do you guys think he would have gotten this amount of pushback? Do you think you would have seen Charles Barkley and Shaq and Joe Tsai and the entire NBA community have to condemn Kyrie Irving? I don't think so. And so finally last night, Kyrie said to all the Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected by my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. He said, I initially reacted out of emotion to being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process to my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary. Now, again, we just went through this a few weeks ago with Kanye West. Twitter blocked Kanye West. Instagram blocked Kanye West. The Balenciaga fashion house cut ties with Kanye West. Kanye West was dropped by his talent agency, CAA. All of the athletes who were signed to his Donda Sports management agency left him. Adidas ended their partnership with Kanye West. And he was kicked out of Skechers headquarters in California. Now, mind you, before this started, Kanye West was the richest black man in America. He was worth well over $2 billion. And now Kanye says that he has lost $2 billion in one day amongst this controversy. One day. I have a hard time believing that there's anybody else that Kanye West and Kyrie Irving could have offended that would have caused this level of backlash. This level of backlash. Kyrie Irving said, Kanye said that he had lost $2 billion in one day, but he said that slavery was a choice. He said that Harriet Tubman really didn't liberate anybody. He wore a shirt that said White Lives Matter in a direct refutation of the Black Lives Matter movement. And he still was a billionaire after all that. If he says this about Native Americans, if Kanye offended Native Americans, if Kyrie offended Native Americans, do we think that they would be facing the sheer level of backlash that they're facing? I don't think so. Let me get to this call really quick. Let me see what you have to say. Hello, caller.
Yes. I'm listening to this. This is new to my attention, but people do not want to hear the truth. The truth will really hurt. I guess it hurts them because it is the truth. What Kanye and he done went to praising Hitler. That's absurd. That's ridiculous.
Well, he didn't actually praise Hitler. He says he didn't actually do that. That's a rumor.
Oh, okay then, because, a man that caused that much death, don't need no recognition.
Yeah,
But, I saw that documentary that it aired and they took it right off.
Mm-hmm.
But, where's the fact set?
Mm-hmm.
Have they studied the scriptures? That's where it's at. And some people, they show documentaries of the slave trade and the Jewish people's, law books and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and the Jewish faith right today, don't lead them to Christ. Some of them don't think Christ came. Now, come with the facts why you want to destroy these young men for, trying to seek knowledge about their own creator.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, they could cut them down and stuff, but they still can't dismiss the facts. And where's they fact that is not true?
Right. Right. Thank you for your
call.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, just in the book itself say they was of dark descendants. I don't see too many Jews kind of dark with rough wool hair.
Yeah.
But go right ahead with your, get the facts and then cut them up.
I heard that. Thank you for your call, sir. I really thought differently about this. There was actually a Jewish man named Aaron Gosley who reacted to what Kanye said. And I thought that this Jewish man, showed a lot of courage. He showed a lot of courage in actually going against a lot of his brothers and sisters and actually putting what Kanye was saying into perspective. This is what this man, Aaron Gosley, had to say on TikTok about what Kanye said.
Okay, hopefully this is my last statement on Kanye and anti-Semitism, but I feel like it won't be. But this is what I wrote. Jews are 2.4% of the population, but 35% of the Forbes 400. African Americans are 13.6% of the population, but only 0.5% of the Forbes 400. instead of listening to the wealthiest and most outspoken black man in the media about the issues he has with potentially racist and stultifying Jews in the industry, which is what going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people translates to in Ebonics, he is completely excoriated. 92% of U.S. Jews identify as white. Israel is known to suffer from intense racial discrimination against its Arab, Mizrahi, and Ethiopian communities. To destroy the life of a black man who says he's going to speak up about the oppression African Americans face from white capitalist owners is insanely racist and problematic. I wish Abraham Joshua Heschel was alive today to deal with this. What I think he would do is meet with Kanye and allow him to air his grievances and acknowledge the problematic power imbalance between Jews and African Americans in media and American society. He would encourage Jews and their allies to take what Kanye says to heart and to see this as a renewed call to anti-racism in all of our society, to support African Americans in their quest to have a seat at the table, and for Jewish people to help African Americans get there. Remember, Jewish Americans have an average net worth of $150,890, and African Americans have an average net worth of $24,000. Beating on Kanye for talking about that only reveals your racism. Have a nice day.
There it is. There it is. And for everybody who wants to know who he's talking about, Abraham Joshua Heschel was a man who Martin Luther King called his rabbi. Okay, he became very good friends with Martin Luther King during the Civil Rights Movement. They were both there with John F. Kennedy in the White House. He was one of the leaders in the Civil Rights Movement. He supported Martin Luther King in everything he did. Him and Martin Luther King used to really chop it up. He was always, he actually delivered the eulogy. He was the only Jew to deliver a eulogy at Martin Luther King's funeral service. So that's who this man, Aaron Gosley, was referencing and saying that people were being unfair to Kanye for talking about Jews controlling the black voice. But let me get to some of these other callers. Hello, caller.
Yes, I was just listening to the conversation, and I'm not a Kanye West sympathizer.
Right.
But I have to take issue with the fact that white supremacist bank accounts are not being frozen or they're not being denied access
to
banking.
Nope.
They did to Kanye West.
Nope.
I also would like to point out the fact that Kyrie Irving posted this link to this movie.
Right.
Amazon is the actual platform that's carrying it.
Right.
So why are we not attacking Amazon?
Exactly.
If it's anti-Semitic, why we're not at Amazon?
Exactly.
They platformed it.
They did. They absolutely did. Thank you for your call. So I got to get to this next call. Hello, caller.
Yeah, I'm just briefly calling back for one thing. They did suggest, and if you look back through history, that Israel is a part of Africa.
Right.
So what's going on?
Right.
Why can't we be the Hebrews, which we are? But, I'm going to leave it at that, and they can get mad if they want to. Bring the facts to the table, because there's a lot of lying going around, and you could start with the Republican Party because they in cahoots. That's why they made Israel the capital.
Yeah,
thank you for it's all the way through history. Yeah, okay.
Right,
ain't nobody
I heard that.
to this mess.
All right, thank you for your call, sir. I agree with the caller. Like I said, I'm not necessarily very schooled on this, so I'm not taking a stance on whether or not my stance on it isn't necessarily the scholarship of it, whether Kanye or Kyrie are correct in terms of black people, or should I say black people being the real Jews. Again, I've heard that my whole life. I've heard it from many places, the black Hebrew Israelites. I'm looking at it from a perspective of these black men who are some of the richest, most powerful black men in the world are purposely being buck broken. These men are purposely being buck broken in front of the entire world. That's what's happening here. They are purposely being buck broken in front of the world. That's what this looks like. Okay, so whether you agree with what Kanye or Kyrie said, here's the facts. Jews are 2% of the American population. 2% of the Forbes 400 list. Jews are 30% of the Forbes 400 list. I'm sorry, 35.5% of the Forbes 400 list. Okay, of the 6 companies that own the world's media, that control most of the world's media, who controls them? At Sony, you have Tom Rothman, who's the CEO. Guess what he is? Bob Bakish from Paramount Global. He's the CEO. Guess what he is? At Fox Entertainment, the CEO, he's Jewish. Brian Roberts from Comcast. From Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav. From Walt Disney Corporation, Bob Chapek. These people, I'm just saying, a lot of these people are Jewish, okay, from AT&T. You got John Stankey, who's the CEO. He's Jewish. Okay, Walt Disney's chairwoman is Susan Arnold. She's Jewish. Paramount Global, the biggest conglomerate. I mean, not the biggest, one of the bigger conglomerates. Okay, Sherry Redstone is the chairwoman. Her father was Sumner Redstone. They are Jewish. To act like it's completely unreasonable to acknowledge that Jews have an outsized and disproportionate amount of power in media and our culture is just to be dishonest and disingenuous. That's all it is. It's just blatantly dishonest and disingenuous. And I at first I was like, I think a lot of people are sort of, I think the tide is shifting. I really do. I'm on social media every day, all day, to try to keep my finger on the pulse of how people are thinking. I'm seeing a lot of support for Kanye and Kyrie now. People who were calling Kanye crazy a few weeks ago are now, I think a lot of those people are starting to sort of say maybe he has a point. Now, I think Kanye has some deep mental health issues that he needs to deal with. He's talked about in the past. But he ain't 100% wrong, folks. And neither is Kyrie Irving. Okay? These guys, when they're talking about the outsized influence that certain groups of people have over black people, they are not wrong about that. I'm not here to decide whether blacks are the real Jews or whatever. That I'm not a theologian and I ain't a historian. Okay? But I know I can go on Wikipedia and look at who runs all these companies. And when Kanye say they Jews, I can go on Wikipedia or Google and see, yeah, that's kind of the case. Let me get this caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
What's up?
Sometimes it's not just the fact that someone's Jewish or that they network. Sometimes it's the matter of if some of us, no matter who we want to, whoever's listening, whatever race or nationality or creed, if we do what they do, then we can get where they got to.
You think so?
Some of them had money. Many of them came over here during the before the World War, the Second World War, and all that. With Hitler and all that kind of stuff. But many of them already had professions and money over there, and then they came over here and started doing some of the same professions. God is giving them some blessings. So learn from them. And then, that's just like we get mad at people who are foreigners, and they seem to progress. And yes, they've had some help from Clinton or whatever. But if we are willing to sacrifice and live 5 in a room and stuff like that until we can get on our feet and then do what we need to do, hey, we will get some of the same results.
All right.
Now, the last thing is, as far as Jews being the chosen people or black people or whatever, there are African Americans, well, there are Africans, people of African descent, who definitely were Jewish. And there's a group that rescued a bunch of them, I think it was last year. They came in, they chartered planes and brought them to Israel, to the home country.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you for your call. I got one more caller. Hello, caller. You're the last caller. What you got to say?
I thank you. I got to call back, and I got to say this. Okay, so every day, on the hour, every hour, I hear counterculture music.
Yes, yes.
I hear end this, end that, kill this end, this ninja, this, that. Now, as you stated earlier, most of the music executives are of Jewish faith or are from the Jewish community.
Yep.
So who's going to take responsibility for that? So I'm supposed to be insulted on a daily, hourly basis, but you act like somebody called you out from this. What they're really doing is challenging. You're not allowed to challenge the oppressor.
Yep.
You're not allowed to question the oppressor.
Yeah.
We're supposed to stay alive. And I have real big issues with celebrities that come out on this. Because all you're doing is protecting your position or your finances.
Yep. That's why I saw
Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal. That's all you're doing. You're trying to stay in good faith with the Jewish community so that you don't get blackballed.
I heard that. Thank you for your call, brother. I got to go to a break and get out of here. So it's all good. I agree with you 100%. All right, folks, we talked for so long. I got to go to this last break, and then I'm getting up on out of here. I want to thank all you guys who called. I got a feeling we're probably going to have to revisit this at some point in the near future because I don't think this story is over. Like I said, I think a lot of people are starting to turn. I think the momentum is with Kyrie and Kanye at this point, and it definitely was not with Kanye at the beginning. Even a lot of black people were just done with Kanye. But a lot of people are saying, maybe he has a point about some things. Please. I'm just saying, a lot of times, people try to, exert a certain amount of force and power, and they can overdo it. All right, folks, when I get back, I'm getting up out of here before Marion Williams personally kicks me out.
Hi, this is State Senator Eddie Mel.